Welcome to this segment of Soul, Silence, and Sound. This is brought to you by BeSimply.
Stars, trees, clouds, and the moon. They all have a meaning and they look just like you.
Welcome to the segment of Soul, Silence, and Sound. This is brought to you by BeSimply, and my name is Suzanne, and I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in and giving yourself this pause for some inner work and some reflective repose. So we have entered into this new lunar cycle, and as we are about a week out of the full moon, this is a beautiful time for you to, one, reflect on what was happening the past week and how you're feeling. And then as we build into that full moon, you have the opportunity to decide what energy you'd like to harness. And as I mentioned at the new moon, this is that opportunity to create change. The one constant that we have that we can fully count on is change. And as humans, we tend to hold on to the past or hold on to an idea of what will exist in the future. So the best way to learn how to navigate life is, one, to embrace change, just have a level of acceptance and surrender to it. And then also learn how to completely be in the present moment, where you can really grow and adapt as the metaphorical tides change and the set and setting changes. So, and this doesn't mean that, someone recently asked, well, what about those long-term goals that we might have? And that doesn't mean that you don't have the vision, the ideas. It's that you're working towards that, and in the present moment, you actually don't lose that vision, whether you're healing, whether you're creating, whether you're nourishing your family, a relationship, or doing all of the above. You don't lose sight of what you're really working towards. However, you really bring your attention in the present moment so that you can see what's ready to actualize in and around you. And this morning was kind of interesting. I had recorded just a short little reel for that social media world. And this is the anniversary of my brother's death birth gateway, as I call it. And my question to everyone, because each year I try to honor him a little differently. And this year I brought out some of the artifacts, as I call them, that he left with us. And the question was, what kind of imprint do you want to leave? And then from there, I, finished that up. I went on to my next to-do item as I'm moving through my day. And I go into my bedroom where I have a bunch of books and a shell that was given by a very significant being connected to my brother's soul. And that shell had fallen off, and there was this beautiful book of poetry that I have. It's Native American, that is about leaving a light, like walk lightly in this life. And so I was like, universe is reminding me very much how that's reminded in the Tao, to walk lightly. Sometimes we have these big aspirations, yet we forget that everything that we are working towards, if we can do it with the mindset to leave as little imprint as possible as we move beyond. And then that will also give maybe you direction on what you really want to focus on and what you really want to create. And that's one of the blessed teachings also from Native teachings. I wouldn't say it's just exclusive to America, but also in Taoist teachings or Buddhist or yogic. It's to travel lightly and to be very aware of your speech, your mind, and your physical movement in space, because it's understood and practiced that we are in this constant dynamic energetic exchange with the world around us in our ecosystem. And when we're not aware, that's where, the slope can get slippery, and, that giant wave comes up and crashes down on us very unexpectedly. It might jostle us more than other moments, because if we're aware of it, then we might be like, okay, I'm going to dive, tuck, and hold my breath until this wave passes. And that's just a little metaphor of how we can really embrace that word of change. And so as we move through this lunar cycle, I encourage you to think about what you might be reconciling, because the last lunar cycle was rather intense for my clients and friends and family, not for everyone, I imagine, but in and around my ecosystem, there was a lot of kind of dark reflections and things that we're trying to grasp at each and every one of you that had that experience. And now, hopefully the seas is a little bit calmer for you right now, and you can start to notice what's rising in and around you. And more than likely, there are some familiar faces from the immediate or past. And within that, there's an opportunity to reconcile, not necessarily with them. You might have karmic destiny to be part of each other's lives now. However, just to reconcile who you were then and who you are now. Oftentimes when we grasp, and this is very much can happen in a parent role, is that we have these like really sweet memories at different points in our children's developmental phases into their adulthood, depending where they are at. And we might hold those really fixed just because they feel really special to us. However, that can constrict energy when we limit our point of view of this dynamic being that's constantly changing. In addition, it can limit us because we miss out on all these other experiences because we keep reflecting back to the past and not just being present in this moment that's unfolding. And when we can do that with one another, we get a lot of different cues with what's happening in and around us that are so sacred and are opportune not only for our own growth, but for the growth of the whole, meaning our interdependent cosmic tapestry that we're weaving together. And the wonderful thing about embracing this opportunity to reconcile who you were into this moment, and then that lets that stuff fall away that really isn't here anymore, and to make peace, with maybe there's little aspects and facets of emotion and identity that are still there that you're ready to sweep away. And then it gives you a good practice of learning how to really embrace change. And that's how that load that we carry in and around us gets lighter, because we start to realize, like, maybe I'm storing all these things away, or I'm holding on to all these ideas in my mind or my heart and my physical body, that it's becoming heavy. And that if I am willing just to set all that down or pieces of it down, then we can be more fluid with that change, and we can be like a swirling diva dancing under the stars, or a Sufi dancer spinning in a temple, really mimicking the flow of life. And springtime really invites us to honor this. Like, there's so many things that are popping up and flowing in and around. And then for our brothers and sisters in the Southern Hemisphere, they have things shedding and falling. And we're constantly in this place of creating compost and growth. And it's that element, that shift between these two seasons, that gives us all this robust resources to work with and create with. And if you can start really focusing in this most present moment, no matter when you're listening to this, about what you're ready to flow with and grow with, and that will be supported. And if you're following with this real time as we come into this full moon, it's going to be really supported. Sometimes, especially with what collectively we've been walking through, it can seem disorienting, and sometimes there can be inhibitions of trust. But understand that we're all in this different transformational process that is really dynamic. It's not linear, and everyone's moving at their own speed and their own rate. And it's kind of like ballroom dancing, if you ever got a chance to do that, and someone comes in and asks to dance, and you dance, and then someone else comes in, and it's just this fluid inhale and exhale of all these beings just in this dynamic flow with music as they are engaging with one another, yet release one another so they can practice dancing with another person. There's not really attachment in some of these styles, former styles of dancing. It's really quite beautiful. And I think it's a metaphor that we can really, if we so to choose, help our psyche embrace. And then know within that dynamic flow, there's still opportunity to come and stay rooted, just like our spring plants. They're rooting down in the earth so they can provide us new growth and flowers and vegetables and herbs and fruits and vegetables that we can put into our homes and enjoy and create sustenance, and we can store for other seasons where it's a little bit more scarce. So if inspired as you're reconciling and you're embracing maybe change, keep, sitting with these concepts of what impermanence, that's what change is, impermanence is, and how you can become more and more fluid with it. And if you're near a coastal ocean, large body of water, even a lake where they have kite surfing or windsurfing, or surfing, real surfing, like without, not that kite surfing isn't real, but you know what I mean, like surfing without anything but your board and your feet and your body. Go and watch that dynamic flow, and even watch the waves and how they shift and change and the fluidity that flows with them. It's so beautiful, and it'll give you an idea of how you can find your own cadence with your rhythm, your pathways, and the environment around you. So as we embrace and reconcile, and then start to prepare for where we're ready to grow, where we're ready to reach forward and add on to what you've already been building in your life, refine and master. And this is the interesting thing that's happening right now, is that there are all these like fast moving tools, yet we're entering into an era of mastery and refinement and discipline, and where things can actually suddenly appear, not through technology, but through your discipline, through your spiritual discipline. And it's a choice, as I've mentioned in previous talks, if you want to be more inorganic or organic in the way you choose, where your soul feels that destiny. We've been splitting off into two roads for some time now, and each lunar cycle is like really grounding down this a little bit further, yet we still are interfacing with one another. And ultimately, we are multidimensional beings and in a multidimensional existence. That's a talk for another day, but understand that we can constantly be in conversation with one another, even if we're not on the same path or in the same dimension. And this is that other component with the spring thematic of resurrection and rebirth and loss, the obsession that took place in different parts of the world with understanding what death and birth was, that really, this is that continuous flow. And from an Eastern perspective, just like if you can reconcile what you're holding on from this lifetime, but to really think about, can I be in a state of fluid motion, of impermanence with myself, that you can literally exit from one form, walk through metaphorical pathway and then into the next state of being, irregardless of what you believe that is. In the East, this is accounted for through these cycles. And now there's a whole new script about being stuck in this loop. And like it's a prison, and it's not, it's the only prison we have is our mind and how we limit ourselves, and no one has power over you. So if you can get comfortable with, like, am I comfortable with myself in all states of being? And what do I need to retain my awareness in these states of being? And that will give you a lot of great information and guidance for how to really honor this precious human life and how to serve it. And just like I got a beautiful, reminder just to have a gentle footprint, which I try to have. But obviously I needed the reminder today. And that's what happens when you take the time just to listen to these talks, to spend time in pure, silent, meditative repose on a daily basis, and spend time out in nature. You start to have an interface, not a technology interface, but an interface with your eternal being and your wisdom keeper. And then you feel more assured on that pathway as you move forward. So as we enter into this meditation, I welcome each and every one of you, just one, to let everything I said wash away. Let it fall away. You don't need to remember it beyond what you received. And if you're inspired to go back and listen, that's fine. But as we go into the silent meditation, I just want it to wash away. And then gently from there, I want to welcome you to come up into an upright seated position, bringing your back all the way up. And if you can, be in a cross-legged half lotus or full lotus posture. If you need to recline or want to recline or sit in a chair, that's fine too. And as we lift that spine, if you are comfortable with your eyes closed and your mind is relatively quiet right now, then go ahead and close your eyes. Otherwise, just find a focal point, a little zazen technique down in front of you, and just use that as your focal point throughout the meditation, staying focused. And if the mind wanders, just bring it back to that point. Otherwise, let's lead in by a few breaths, and then you can follow your breath to dive into this semi-quiet space, silent meditation. Taking a soft, gentle breath in. And out. Again, inhale. And exhale. One more inhale. And exhale. Gently from there, just focus in on your breath or your focal point. gently from there, I welcome you to gently lean back and recline or move fully into Shavasana, a prone position on your back with your palms facing upward as we transition into receiving sound. As you settle in, just take a nice gentle breath into the heart and out. Again, inhale. And exhale. And one more inhale. And exhale. And then continue to follow your natural breathing pattern. no ani ai ane ani lam ano ani ai ane ani ram ane ani ram. Taking a soft, gentle breath into your heart center, gently breathing in and out. Again, inhale and exhale. Good. Another one. Inhale. And exhale. As you gently breathe in and out, just taking a moment to prepare yourself to rise up to a seated position when you're ready. And as you continue to breathe in and out, I welcome you just to take a few moments to express silent gratitude for all aspects of yourself. And as you express this gratitude, I also welcome you to send some gratitude, kindness, compassion out beyond here to a person, people, and or place you feel it might be needed, wanted, and welcomed. And so as you integrate this idea of change and reconciliation and this opportunity to flow with that in a way that maybe you haven't before, with the understanding that all things are impermanent. And within that, we can have an opportunity to be more present in each moment that unfolds. And that will help us meet those visions that we have for ourselves and our family and our community by being present yet weaving into the future. And I thought I would read a poem from this book that magically wanted me to see it today. And it's called, the book is called Walking Quietly, The Beautiful Trail. And these are lyrics and legends of the North American Indian, I will call it. And this is called The New Direction by Emerson, Blackhorse Mitchell. This vanishing old road through hail like dust storm. It stings and scratches. Stuffy, I can't breathe. Here once walked my ancestors. I was told by the old ones, one can dig at the very spot and find forgotten implements. Wasting no time, I urged on. Where I'd stop, I knew not. Startled, I listened to the wind and the whistle. It whistled and screamed, cried, "You go back, not this path." Then I recall this trail swept away by the north wind. It wasn't far from me to follow. The trail of the long walk, deciding between two cultures. I gave a second thought. Reluctantly, I took the new one, the paved rainbow highway. I had found a new direction. And so that is a beautiful bookend to this conversation, that we are at a similar point and we all have the free will and the choices and a dynamic dance with the universe to choose. And as you find your own true north, may you remember and listen to your soul, your wisdom keeper, and your heart, your connection to the divine. And see what unfolds this week. See what unfolds and what you're ready to build upon as the next new moon or the next moment for you arrives. New moon, full moon. Thank you for your grace and listening to me read an unprepared poem. And I'm just in this like beautiful moment of possibility with you all. So until next time, I want to thank each and every one of you for showing up and tuning in and creating the space to be. And I also want to thank Random Rab. We listened to The River. I inserted that, one of my favorite tracks. And we're going to exit out with a little Kadri Scott. And I want to thank Dante Marino. Please support the arts. We are going into that era. And it's authenticity, mastery, and the arts that will lead us that way. And all the performative quote unquote pretending will dissipate. People one by one will understand the importance of authenticity, refinement, and mastery. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful era ahead. All right, this is me, Suzanne, signing out with a full heart, a soft gaze, a deep bow. Wow, my tongue is twisted today. And a namaste.
Something changed. It'll feel so strange now. And if you show